Some names just feel American: Ford and John Deere. For over a century, these companies didn't just build machines, they built the backbone of the American middle class. Henry Ford's assembly line made cars affordable for the very workers who built them, a social contract that promised a decent life for hard work. John Deere's steel plow broke open the West, turning wild grasslands into the world's breadbasket. A Deere tractor meant independence and self-reliance for farmers. Together, Ford and Deere powered a nation. One put us on the road, the other fed us. Their legacies are etched into small towns across America, where the local dealership or supplier was often the heart of the community. These companies represented industrial patriotism, a belief that what was good for Ford and Deere was good for America. But today the ground is shifting. The world that built these giants isn't the world they live in now. The promise of a fair day's pay for a hard day's work is more complicated. Their challenges go far beyond building better cars or tractors. Now it's about navigating global politics, new technology, and changing ideas about work itself. The story of Ford and John Deere is the story of America at a crossroads. How do we honor our past while building a future that works for everyone? Once, Ford and Deere competed mostly with other American companies. Then globalization changed everything. Now, competition comes from Japan, Germany, South Korea, and especially China, often with different rules and government support. Supply chains stretch across continents, making these companies vulnerable to disruptions anywhere in the world. A single missing part from overseas can halt an entire assembly line in Michigan. Costs for steel, aluminum, and other materials swing wildly with global politics. Setting prices is a high-stakes guessing game. New competitors aren't just cheaper, they're innovative, especially in electric vehicles and software. Ford and Deere must now be global innovators, supply chain experts, and political strategists. It's no longer enough to be an American icon. The job has gotten a lot harder. The stakes have never been higher. Ford's legacy is built on the roar of the internal combustion engine. Now, the future is electric and silent. The shift to EVs is a fundamental reinvention, requiring billions in investment, new factories, and a retrained workforce. Building EVs is expensive, especially the batteries, and Ford must make them affordable for everyday Americans. Range anxiety and a patchy charging network make customers hesitant. The technology is still evolving, and practical questions about battery life and replacement linger. Fewer moving parts in EVs mean less work for traditional auto workers. Ford faces the challenge of retraining and retaining its workforce. The transition is a delicate balancing act, embracing the future without abandoning the people who built the company. It's a massive gamble. The stakes, the company's survival, and the future of American manufacturing. Today's John Deere tractor is a high-tech marvel, GPS-guided, sensor-packed, and AI-driven. Precision agriculture boosts yields and efficiency, but it's created a new problem: repairs. When a smart tractor breaks, farmers can't just fix it themselves. Proprietary software locks them out. Waiting for certified technicians can mean costly delays during critical planting or harvest windows. This sparked the right to repair movement, farmers demanding the freedom to fix their own equipment. Deere argues it's about safety and protecting technology, but for farmers, it's about independence. The debate pits old-school self-reliance against New World corporate control. Who really owns the machines, the company or the person who bought it? It's a battle over the future of farming, and a test of American values. For Ford and Deere, politics is a high-stakes game. Tariffs are meant to protect American industry, but they often raise costs for manufacturers. When the U.S. imposes tariffs, other countries retaliate, hurting exports and the farmers and workers who depend on them. Deere, for example, was hit hard when China slapped tariffs on American soybeans. Trade wars ripple through entire industries, with workers and farmers caught in the crossfire. These companies must constantly adapt to shifting trade rules and unpredictable political winds. Moving supply chains to avoid tariffs is costly and uncertain. The result? Long-term planning becomes nearly impossible. The simple goal of protecting American jobs gets tangled in global consequences. Every decision is a balancing act. The stakes are not just corporate profits, but the livelihoods of millions. For Ford and Deere, the political landscape is as challenging as the marketplace, and the margin for error is razor thin. Global competition and supply chain issues aren't just boardroom problems, they hit home. When Ford moves production or Deere lays off workers, it's not just a headline, it's a pink slip, a family in crisis. Workers like Dave, a 25-year Ford veteran, face uncertain futures as technology changes the jobs they've mastered. Retraining is tough, especially for those who've spent decades on the line. the impact ripples through communities, empty diners, struggling suppliers, shrinking tax bases. A single corporate decision can drain the life from a town. For farmers, software-locked tractors threaten their independence and livelihoods. Waiting for repairs can mean lost crops and lost income. These are the real-world consequences of a complicated global economy. It's about jobs, homes, and dignity. The story of the Rust Belt is still being written, and it's a story that matters to us all. When challenges mount, people look to Washington for answers. Politicians promise to revive American manufacturing with tariffs, subsidies, and new laws. Policies like the CHIPS Act and EV subsidies aim to boost domestic industry and jobs. For Ford, subsidies help make electric vehicles more affordable and keep factories running. But government help often comes with strings attached, like strict sourcing rules that can drive up costs. Sometimes policies pull in opposite directions, creating more uncertainty for companies. Washington can incentivize and penalize, but it can't force innovation or solve global shortages overnight. Political solutions are often temporary and unpredictable. In the end, Ford and Deere's survival depends on their own ability to adapt and compete. The government can help, but it can't do the job for them. Ford and John Deere's stories are about more than machines, they're about the American dream. Their challenges mirror those facing the nation: globalization, technology, and uncertainty. Will America still be a place where hard work leads to a good life? The shift to EVs and autonomous tractors is a seismic change in what work means. There's opportunity in new high-tech jobs, but risk in leaving workers behind. Managing this transition is crucial for the middle class and the country's independence. When we lose the ability to build what we need, we lose more than jobs, we lose self-reliance. The fate of these companies previews our own. Ford and Deere have survived by adapting for over a century. The road ahead is their toughest yet. Their struggle is our struggle. The promise of America is on the line. Their success or failure will signal the future of the American way.